Amazing. So now we'll take some questions from the audience.
Hi, Strive. Thank you so much for being here. Really appreciate it. I was just wondering, on either a personal or professional level, sort of what keeps you up at night? Sort of what do you wake up in the morning really concerned about, thinking about?
You know, I never keep up at night. President Obama said to me once, "What keeps you up at night?" I said, "Nothing. I'm not running the world. You are." He said, "Okay, suppose you woke up in the middle of the night. So, okay, jobs. How do we create employment?" That really is a challenge to me. How do we get our young people? So I'm persuaded that the answer lies in part with entrepreneurship. Okay, if I can't create somebody a job, maybe I can help them create the jobs, inspire them to go out and do something. But I have an exciting job to do, which does give me a lot of energy in the morning.
We have a question right up here.
Okay. Thank you so much for this opportunity. I mean, I had always dreamed to come very close to you. My name is Brian, and I'm from Zimbabwe. So my question was, I understand after you finished your undergraduate in Germany or somewhere in Europe, I'm no longer sure, you went back to Zimbabwe to work, in Africa, and then start to build your ideas from the continent. What advice would you give to someone who is graduating right now, or maybe to be specific, graduating in 2020? Do you think it's best for us, if we dream of changing our continent through entrepreneurship, to first start work here and gain some skills, or to go and work maybe in parastatals that we think would want to change in the future?
Yeah, thank you. That's quite multifaceted. I think, there's no simple answer to this. I wish I could say that. But what I can say to you, the sooner if you have an intention to get home and work there, the sooner you go, the better. It's actually very difficult if you kind of spend 5-10 years, you've got a family, you've got roots and so forth. That's harder to do. I just picked up my bag and I went home. Okay, and it was easy. I think it would have been much harder if it had been 10 years later. But having said that, I know a lot of friends who came after they had spent some time building up experience and so forth, and did very well. But I also go as far as to say that I'll never condemn somebody who doesn't come. Okay, they are the Africans living and working in the diaspora are contributing as much to Africa today as anybody who's there. And I'm very proud of what they do. We can't accommodate a lot of these guys, even if we wanted to. So, but they are sending money home. They are keeping people in school. The burden they carry for such a small group of people is extraordinary. So that's why I say there's no simple answer. I wish I could say there was. All the above will work out, but I wouldn't send you to a country at war. That might be an issue. I had to leave Zimbabwe 18 years ago. Haven't been back even for one day. Okay? So, there are always issues that one needs to take into consideration.
Hello. Hi, Strive.
Hi.
My name is Tunde. I'm from Nigeria.
I figured Tunde. They're just some names, Tunde from Nigeria, Tendai from Zimbabwe. I mean, you never get a Tendai from Kenya.
I think I'm the only Tunde from Nigeria, though. But anyways, Thank you for this opportunity. Kind of piggybacking on your point, have you ever thought about initiatives like what Africans in the diaspora can kind of do to support developmental goals in Africa? More sort of entrepreneurship rather than what you mentioned in terms of like philanthropy or supporting folks back home. So like investments and stuff like that. Because from what you said, not only do we have like people here, we have like tremendous talent that work for top companies and stuff like that.
And there's a lot of conversation around this issue today. Okay, how can we encourage? We call it the diaspora, which means we include people like LeBron James, by the way. He's an African in the diaspora. So in Africa, we think of all black people around the world as part of the African diaspora. But Africa is not just black people. We have a wonderful diversity on our continent. But on the serious note, there's a lot of conversation around encouraging those who are living and working outside Africa to invest in creating businesses and supporting entrepreneurship, even investing through local stock exchanges and so forth, trying to mobilize capital. I'm a great supporter of that, but I haven't seen anything that I could say to you, this is the perfect solution. Thank you.
Hi, Strive. My name is Ruth. I'm from Ghana. I was wondering, as a chairman of AGRA, what do you think is the future of smallholder farming in Africa? And in thinking about that, how do you think we're going to meet food security challenges?
You should listen to the radio interview that Jeff and I did this morning at 7 o'clock. Jeff Rakes, please, Jeff, stand up. He's the chairman of your esteemed university, but has been a member of the AGRA board for many, many years and helped set it up. And we spent, goodness, an hour and a half. And you really got to listen to what Jeff had to say. Because I was just the backup, I'm a city boy, I'm not a farmer. But I've learned a few things. And amongst them, of course, 70% of our food production in Africa is done by women, smallholder farmers, and they are aging. It's a paradox for us. We've got millions of young people without jobs, but they're not interested in agriculture, and rightly so. It's not sustainable. What we got to do is to put in place a policy framework that makes agriculture, modernizes the way we do agriculture, looks at agriculture as an industry, sustains the incomes of smallholder farmers, increases their incomes. And this is what we are trying to do from the perspective of AGRA. We are investing and catalyzing in small businesses. We've created over 100 seed companies in Africa. And these seed companies now produce a third of all the certified seed produced on the African continent. It's phenomenal in 10 years. They produce enough seed to feed 15 million people every year. So we're trying to help 30 million smallholder households. So the smallholder farmer is the absolute bedrock of Africa. There's no nation, China, Europe, the United States, that ever got going without sorting out their agriculture. So to the extent that, so we've got to put in place the right framework from a policy perspective, and that's what we work to try and encourage governments to do. Ensure that there is sustained domestic investment, both from governments, from entrepreneurs, and create a stable environment for farmers, markets, ensuring they get access to seeds, and there's a whole value chain around it. So there's a lot of space in agriculture.
Hi, Mr. Masiyiwa. I'm Elmer from Angola. Here at the GSB, we are taught a lot about managerial practices that we're supposed to implement to increase the likelihood of success. But those are mostly premised on the existence of certain factors, such as the enforceability of the rule of law or the existence of a highly qualified labor market. People that have succeeded in developing economies in spite of those obstacles are usually associated with the ruling regime. I think it's fair to say that you are not one of those people, but you still succeeded. So how did you do that? And for those of us that are still working on our first billion or million or thousand, what sort of advice would you give us?
You know, somebody asked Richard Branson, how do I become a billionaire? And he said, he says, how do I become a millionaire? He says, start with $1 billion and buy an airline. So you can keep, but I understand where you want to go. It's one of my challenges when I'm advising young entrepreneurs from different African countries, because, there are different types of governments. There are different situations on the ground. And how do I advise someone from Togo and someone in South Africa, Zimbabwe or Zambia? Because I can't be, so what I try to do is to teach principles that will make you a success as an entrepreneur, irrespective of the conditions. One of my mantras is to say the entrepreneur must train like a soldier. We fight in the conditions, not the conditions. Because we really can't wake up in the morning and say, today it's raining, I'm not fighting. So the challenges are there. But the thing is, Africa is full of entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurship is alive and well in Africa. It is just building the support systems to ensure that these ventures can grow and scale. So I hope that as some of you get skills from here, you can take them home to be able to help others to scale.
Hi, my name is Thierry. I'm from Rwanda. And I remember this May in Transform Africa, you talked about, I was there by the way, you talked about how data is actually, to our generation, is what internet was to the 90s, 80s generation. And with that, I took that like an advice, but I tried to look into that. But the problem is, part of it, data in Africa is in the air. It's not somewhere. You can't actually find data. And even when there is data, it's so hard to break through the government censorship actually to get that data. So what do you think about that? How can you break through that? And I also have a side question about your program. I'm part of another program in Rwanda called Bridge Rwanda. We come to the States, study and go back. But the issue with the program right now is it's so hard to convince us to go back. I graduated from Stanford having an offer from Microsoft and an offer to go back home. Those two offers, you can't even weigh them. How do you convince your students to actually reject the offer? Because it's not a problem of being patriotic. It's an issue of weighing the two offers and see which one is better. How do you make it more attractive to students to come back in Africa?
I have a better offer for you. Go and start your own business. It's better offer than Microsoft or Intel or Uber or anybody. Okay. Once you decide to go down that route, none of those are good offers. So that's my challenge for you. have a program which is fascinating, which we take young American graduates every year. This year we had 30. We offer it not to Africans. You can't have this one. Young Americans. And we send them to Africa for 3 to 6 months. And they work for African companies. They don't work for governments. They don't work. It's not Peace Corps. You got to go and you got to work for companies like mine. And guess what? They don't want to come home either. So there's something going on there, my friend. You got to come.
Good afternoon. My name is Daphne Masiyiwa. I'm from Zimbabwe, and fortunately, I'm one of your Andrew Young scholars. I graduated from Spelman College this past May. So I have a background in biochemistry, and I am interested in addressing health problems in developing countries, mostly, particularly in diagnostics, because I feel like those diseases such as malaria, HIV, tuberculosis have been neglected mostly. And I'm interested in someday owning my own biotechnology company in Zimbabwe to address matters in Zimbabwe, because it's very, very important for us to have such facilities that allow us to try and solve our own problems using our own resources. So what would you give, what advice would you give a young person like myself with no background in business, but interested in making such changes to our continent, to the place that we come from?
Wow, that's great. We have a program with Morehouse College. So Andrew Young came to me and said, why don't you have a program just for Morehouse? So I said, okay. So we did a deal where we would send 10 students to Morehouse. But I forgot that was only men. So we ended up doing the identical program at Spelman, and that's where the Andrew Young program she talks about comes from. So we send these amazing young people there, and this is the future of Africa. Look, the most important thing the challenges for you are there, but they're no different from any generation anywhere else in the world. Okay? To the extent that you can come home, and we will help you, and we will get you started in the business that you want to get into. And really, we want to say that about, your country, Zimbabwe, which is also my country, has just gone through an extraordinary change that the whole world witnessed. And so there's a lot of sense of hope. So I'll see you there for Christmas next year. How about that?
So I know there's still tons of questions in the audience, but you'll have to post it to his Facebook page because we're out of time now. But I think that we all agree that it's been phenomenal. And let's give another round of applause to Strive.
Wow, that was amazing. The smallholder farmer is the bedrock of Africa. No country in the world has made it without first taking care of the agricultural sector. The entrepreneur must train like a soldier. Do not fight the conditions, fight in the conditions. Don't wait until your first billion, start straight away. What is your why? Why are you doing what you're doing? What motivates you? What's your passion? These are some of the lessons that we've been having today. It's great to see you all participating in the chat box. Thank you very, very much for being an amazing audience. I'm sure we all learned a lot, and we're looking forward to the discussions that are going to arise and the ideas and the motivation. A lot of people are saying that now I feel motivated, now I want to start my own business. This is the intention of the interview, to be motivated so that we know our patron, our idol has made it, and how we can follow in those footsteps and how we can become equally great. Each of us has a seed in us of greatness. It takes cultivating and it takes watering. That's why we're here today. So to round up Young and Dynamic for this week, we're going to do the announcements.